Good afternoon, family. Still setting up. Give me 1 second. I'm about to get started, family. Give me a second. I'm still setting up. Good afternoon, everyone, and good evening, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101. I know a lot of you guys are watching the debate, but this information is much better than, not the debate, but the presidential election, what I'm talking about. But nonetheless, this information is very important if you guys want to own a home. Now, I always hear people say, I don't have enough money to buy a home. I don't have enough for the down payment because, you know, some people, they want 20% of the down payment. If you go with certain federal loans, like maybe a Fannie Mae or Fannie Mac, 3.5% I need down. I don't have any of that money. But let me tell you about rent to buy or lease with an option to buy. Now, we need to understand the definition of the two. Simoneously, they're the same thing. A lease with an option to buy is a contract in which the buyer, you, can lease a property for a period of time. Now, this is usually a year or two, no more than a year or two. That is the usual. And then have an option to buy the property, to buy the home at the end of the lease period. Let me say it again. Lease with an option to buy is a contract in which the buyer, yourself, can lease the property for a period of time, usually a year or two, and then have an opportunity to buy the property at the end of the lease period. Now, this is absolutely a great method to buy your first home, buy your second home, because a lot of people are still living in double wide and triple wide trailers, if that triple wide trailers exist, and also apartment buildings and condos that you're renting and all other sorts of places that you may be living, that you just want your own house. You want a single family home or you want a town home. And a lot of people don't even know that this information exists. I remember doing this video years ago, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. And I helped a lot of people get inside of homes, a lot of people, to make sure when you're reading that contract, there's a lot of things. Now, we understand when you have a lease with an option to buy, it's an option. Okay, don't have anyone to feel as though you are obligated to buy that property. Okay, the tenant does not have, you, the tenant, the buyer, does not have to buy the property if they don't want to. This is your own option. You don't have to buy the property, but it's good to have the option. Often some of the money paid, and here's another thing that you want to be in that contract, especially when you're going to lease with an option to buy or renting to buy, you want to have this particular verbiage inside of the lease, that some of the money that you pay renting to buy or with an option to buy, that some of the money paid each month can be applied as a down payment for the purchase of the property. Now, but if the tenant, you, does not exercise the option to buy, you too have to understand that the landlord, that the property owner keeps all of that money. It's as though you were just renting. You were just renting a house. I know a few people who was renting a house, and I told them I don't understand renting a house. Oh, well, we don't know how long we're going to be here, etc. Now, for certain people who travel a lot, like maybe military members or merchant marines, people who kind of move around the U.S. or the world, I can understand why they may rent a house and not buy one. But for you guys who really want your own home and your credit score is not up to par, or you don't have enough money, renting to buy is a valuable option for you to have your own home one day. And that home could be within a year, okay? Because again, when you have the option to buy, it is your choice. Now, it's a huge obligation for you to have really good financial sense. It's really good for you to have really good financial management skills, because with these options to buy within those contracts, which also contains if you're late, the option goes away. If you don't make a payment or you destroy the property, the option goes away. There's a lot of stipulation. There's a lot of red tape that basically, if you're not a good tenant, the option can go away. But don't let that deter you, because granted, if you are leaning to this option to buy, leasing with an option to buy, then chances are you're probably not in a good financial sense. But this is going to help you build up your credit. And a lot of times your credit score is not going to be the deciding factor. Okay. So like me, I have my own home. I have to finance my mortgage. Okay. When you're purchasing a new house. And a lot of times with that, not a lot of times, 100% of the times, you must have a good score. You must have a good credit score and cash for a down payment. Now, what I mean by a good credit score, you don't have to have like a 700 or above. You can pretty much get a home with a 620, so to speak, but your interest rate on your loan is going to be that much more, okay? Take, for instance, my interest rate for the home that I am now was 3.25%. Of course, right after COVID and the housing market, now it's 2.6. I could have got a 2.6 if I would have waited, but who knows what was going to happen because of COVID-19. Now, I remember buying my first home, okay? My credit was not good at all. I paid 8%. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, 8% from 3.25% is a lot of damn money. It's a lot of damn money, okay? I don't really have, like $1,000. It's a lot of money in a difference. So it's good to get your credit. But let's wipe away your credit score. Let's wipe away your down payment, okay? Because this is an alternative, okay, for you to rent to own. This is a good thing with the option to buy. Very, very, very important. So let's look at how this process works, because it's a little more complicated than just renting, okay? You need to take extra precautions to protect your interests. And that's reading. And reading is fundamental. You must read. So here's some things I want you guys to keep inside of your brain. Hopefully you guys got notes. You know me, I got notepads all over the place. I keep sticky notes everywhere, and I got a little notepad. So take some notes. A rent-to-own agreement is a deal in which you commit to renting a property for a specific period of time with the option of buying it before the lease runs out. They say, hey, listen, you're coming up on your lease. Would you like to buy the property? Do you like to continue to lease the property, or you're moving out? Now, going back to what I said earlier, part of your option to buy, you want to make sure that a portion of the amount that you're paying every month could be applied to your down payment. So by the end of the year, guess what? You're not coming out of pocket for any money. the rent you were paying, a portion of that is already part of your down payment. Now, in some cases, you may have to come up with $1,000 to $2,000. $1,000 to $2,000. Okay. But take, for instance, if you bought a home that was $350,000 and you had to pay 3.5% down, I want you to really think about how much that will cost you. Okay. I don't want to get into the detail. I want to give you the information because we need to understand that renting to own includes a standard lease agreement and also the option to buy a property at a later time. See, a lease option contract gives you the right to buy the home when the lease expires, while lease purchases contract require you to buy it. That's the difference. Lease purchase contracts require you to buy it. Write that down. A lease purchase contract requires you to buy it. Difference is a lease option contract, you have to option to buy it. Now, with some of these agreements of you renting to buy or an option to buy, leasing option with the option to buy, they have a lot of non-refundable upfront fees. You have a lot of non-refundable upfront fees. Because take, for instance, rent to own agreement. You're the buyer. As a buyer, you pay the seller a one-time, usually non-refundable fee upfront called the option fee. Okay, you got option fee, option money, or option consideration. They have all these different terms, but you need to understand this fee is what gives you the option to buy the house by some date in the future. They want you to pay for that. They want you to pay for that option. The option fee is often negotiable. You can negotiate. Well, we want $1,000 up front for the option fee that's non-refundable. What about $650? You can negotiate that. Okay? You negotiate that. And there's no standard rate. Okay? There's no standard rate. Now, let's talk about lease option versus lease purchase. There's a difference. We see we've got Nolan Baptiste in the room. Good evening, sir. Jermaine Anderson, good evening, sir. And we got Code Red. What's up with you as well? So we got lease option and versus lease purchase. It's important to note that there are different types of rent-to-own contracts, with some being more consumer-friendly and flexible than others, okay? So lease option contracts, again, lease option contracts give you the right, but you are not obligated to buy the home or the property when the lease expires. Important that you understand the difference between lease option and lease purchase. You have the option to buy the home when the lease or the property when the option ends. Okay? So if you decide not to buy the property at the end of the lease, the option simply expires. But you don't get that money back. Let's keep that straight. Because you paid for that option, you don't get that money back. It's non-refundable, as I said before. And you can walk away from this property, this house, without any obligations to pay or to do anything, to rent or to buy it or anything like that. You don't have to do anything. You're just done. It's kind of like you just rent an apartment, because essentially that's what it was. Now, when it comes to having an option to buy without obligation to buy, you need it's a lease option contract, because there's no option. You're leasing to buy. There's no option. You can't get out. You are required to buy, and you will come with penalties and fees and all sorts of things if you try to get out of it. Now, when you're talking about agreeing on the purchase price, this is another entity that you guys really need to look at. So you got your rent-to-own agreement. It should really specify when and how the home is purchased. It should specify when and how the home purchase price is determined, because in some cases, you and the seller, the person who's selling you the property, will agree on a purchase price when the contract is signed. Not after you sign, before you sign. You're like, well, with this option, how much is the home, how much is the property going to cost me? Now, let's take into consideration that the property or house may be often at a higher price than the current market value. So let's take, for instance, a home is 250,000. You may, for the market, okay, the market says this home is worth 250,000. So any other bank that gives you money, they're not going to allow you to buy that home at that particular price. So that's why you have the option fee, okay? Because it's going to give you some skin in the game. It's going to give you skin in the game, right? They say, well, we're going to give you an option to buy, but you need some skin in the game. So they want you upfront some money. And during this time, it's going to help your credit. Then you also have enough time to pay any additional down payments. Okay. So, and also within this time, it helps you to work on your credit score, but you are working towards a goal, and that's purchasing a home. I want that really to sink in, because that's imperative. Okay. That's very, very imperative for you to know. You're going to buy that home more times than not at a higher price than the current market value of the home. But in other situations, the price is determined when the lease expires. So take, for instance, we go back and we say, well, I'll let you know the purchase price at the end of your lease. You still have the option to buy, but I'm going to give you the purchase price at the end of the lease. You know why they do that? Because during that time that you're leasing that property, aka renting that property to buy, the market value of that home could have went up, or the market value of that home could have went down. So when you went inside the home, you may not know this, but the home is worth 250,000. The market tanks. Now the home is worth 200,000, but he's like, no, I'm not going to lose any money on this. So it's still 250,000. You get what I'm saying? So they want to make sure they profit from this venture. But again, this is an option for you to have your own home. I know you guys are tired of renting. I know you tired of guys on the left and right, above you and below you. I lived in an apartment a large portion of my life, off and on. This is my fourth home. And during that time of me moving around, I was living in apartments. I absolutely hate someone living the right side of me, the left side of me, above me, below me. So you know what I used to do? I used to buy apartments at the top, so I couldn't hear nobody above me. And my last apartment, I only had a neighbor that was beside me. And I told all my neighbors, hey, listen, I love to play my loud music every now and again. Here's my number. I bull crap you not. I used to give them a sheet. I used to say, my name is Ray. This is what I do. This is what I like. Here's my number. Here's my email. You can text, call me. Just don't, tell the rental office it's loud music. I'm giving my neighbors, okay, my information so they feel more comfortable with me. And on this shitty paper, I actually had my picture, right? I was in a suit. I like, right? So they know that they're dealing with a very friendly guy. Like, hey, and it happened in 3 years. It happened once. I was bumping. I had some guys over. We was having some drinks. It was around like midnight. It was a Saturday night, and I was just playing what I was playing, some hip hop probably. And I got a text like, hey man, your music's a little bit too loud. I got work the next morning. Boom. I said, okay, sorry. Turn my music down. But nonetheless, I can blast music in my house all day. Okay. I'm probably about 25 to 50 feet, and they got to go through drywall and framing and brick. So I'm blasting my music. Nobody cares. Okay. Now, they do this when it comes to the property value, so they can always gain interest. They can always win on this contract. Not for a moment that you think they're not trying to make money off of you. But again, the bonus here for you is that you'll be owning your own home. See, many buyers prefer to lock in the purchase price. And this is something that you too should negotiate at the time. If you put it part of the contract, say, hey, regardless of the current market value, with the option to buy at $250,000 after 1 year. Very important. Very important that you make sure that's in the contract. This is something that you can negotiate. Okay? Now, I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I don't want to make this too long because you got rent to home maintenance, things they want you to take care of, just like a rental property that you was renting a house, but applying the rent to the principal. See, when you pay rent throughout the lease term, the question is whether a portion of each payment is applied to the purchase price. Now, if I'm renting my home out, the money I'm getting from you, of course, I'm applying to the purchase price of the home because it's still in my name. You just have the option to buy. Now, if you pay $1,200 in rent each month for 3 years and 25% of that is credit towards the purchase, you'll earn $10,800 rent credit. That makes sense? Again, for you guys who are listening, if you pay $1,200 in rent each month for 3 years and 25% of that is credit towards the purchase, you'll earn $10,800 rent credit. So basically, the rent is slightly higher than the going rate for the heir to make up the rent credit that you will receive. But be sure you know what you're getting for paying that premium, because this is going towards your rent credit. That way you can use that money as a down payment. This is a very marvelous way for you guys to own a home. It really is. Now, in my opinion, if you're going to ask me, this is not my preferred method, but this is a method. I know that even before COVID-19, there's a lot of people barely making it by ends meet. You may have a decent credit score. You may have a 650 or above. You can obtain a loan, but at a very high interest rate, but you may not have the down payment. So renting to buy or lease with an option to buy is a great alternative than the conventional way of you buying a home. And all of these things I mentioned, make sure it's in the contract. Make sure you read that contract word for word, line for line. Get your magnifying glass out. Like, hold up, what's this? Oh, that's a T. Never mind. But there's a lot of things you want to make sure that is covered inside of the contract, so to speak, right? Because you do have, home maintenance, right? Because depending on the terms of the contract, you may be responsible for maintaining the property and paying for repairs. They say, okay, well, I'm going to do this option for you with the option to buy. I want you to treat this like your own home. So any repairs, you pay for, not me. Do not look at me like I'm the landlord, because again, you're paying a non-refundable fee for the option to buy. 1, 2, and this is why this is great alternative, not a primary method, but this is a great alternative because this is going to help you to understand all the vivid details and all the things that go into owning and operating your own home. When something breaks, you pay for it, not the landlord. You're your own landlord. Because here's the thing. If something goes wrong in this house, right? First thing I'm looking at is my home warranty. Does it cover it? No. My home insurance, does it cover it? No. I have to pay for it. So that is what the seller is saying. Treat this home like it's yours because you have the option to buy. This may be your home, because the reason why you entered this contract is because 1 or 2 reasons. You're not there financially, your credit score, and you don't have enough money for the down payment. So you need to understand the intricacies of owning your own home. Because when you're renting, you call the handyman, you call the rental office, and you say, hey, my washer broke. Hey, this light went out. Hey, my stove went out. And they come and replace it or they fix it. Right? But see, that's what they may do. They say, hey, you may be responsible for the property and paying for repairs. And we understand this is usually the landlord's responsibility, but this is you practicing, training to be your own homeowner. So you must read the fine print of the contract very, very carefully. This can be very, very lucrative for you, or this can be a sad stop story. Because the sellers are ultimately responsible for any homeowner associating fees. They're going to pay the HOA fees, but they may have you to pay the HOA fees within that. You know, fees, taxes, insurance. Because after all, it's their house, but because you have the option to buy, you have to pay for those fees. But usually they would. And here's another very key point of renting to buy or leasing with the option to buy. This is very important. I'm going to get in real close. Make sure inside of the contract that they don't have the option not to sell you the home. Again, make sure in the contract with the lease, with the option to buy, that they do not, the seller, they do not have the option of not selling you the home. Because then you're going to be out of your option money that's non-refundable. You're going to be out of your rental credit that's not refundable. Because if you were to walk away, say, nah, I'm not going to exercise the option. So you don't get that credit back, right? Because that's part of the deal. So you got your non-refundable option money. You have your rental credit, okay? And then any repairs you've made, you just increase their property value. So make sure that the seller don't have the option of not selling you the home. Because take, for instance, here you are at the end of your lease. You say, hey, I love the home. You know, I painted the walls. I made it my own. So I want to exercise my option to buy. You know, my kids love it. My daughter loves her room. My son loves the room. My wife, my husband. We absolutely love. We got a nice backyard. We're going to, you know, we would have never had this opportunity without leasing, without the option to buy. And the seller said, you know what? You know, me and my wife, me and my husband, we thought it over and we're really attached to this home. So we're not going to sell it. We're not going to sell it. We're going to keep it. You're like, hold up. I paid for the option to buy it. Well, did you read the contract, sir? The sellers, we have the option not to sell. And all the monies that you have are non-refundable. Well, we're not going to move. They're just going to lock your ass up. So move, just get out. That's why it's very important for you guys to read. So let me see who else is in the room. We got Jermaine Anderson says, hey, yeah, shaking my head. But ladies and gentlemen, I think this is very vital information. If you know anyone in this situation, predicament, who's tired of renting, who's kind of on the precipice, kind of on the cusp, you know, on the ledge about their credit score, their money, their savings, down payments and stuff like that, look out for properties that you can lease with the option to buy. Let me go over to something really quickly. I don't know if it was Trulia or Redfin I was looking at. Give me 1 second. I want to show you guys something. See, sell my home, find a home. Let's see here. Let's see, lease. Let me just do a quick Google search. Let me inform you guys of something. Lease to own homes. Here we go. Let's see. I'm just going to show you where I'm at. They got some lease to own homes. I think this would be very educational if you guys looked at this. Okay, let me blow this up. Okay. All right. So we have here, right? So these houses do exist that I'm talking about. But I want you to look at the rent. Again, the rent is essentially a little more than what it should be because of the option to buy, the rental credit, and all those things. Because you can apply a lot of that rental, you can apply all the rental credit to your down payment. So take, for instance, you got $2,300 a month, 4-bed, 2-bath. Okay. We can go into the details. So let's look at this home right here. That's $2,000, 4-bed, 2-bath. Let's look at more details. Okay, let's see here. I hate the fact that they threw all this in here. They didn't give us a square feet, but the owner contacts, it says here, you rent a home for a set period of time with an option to buy for a predetermined price. That's good. Predetermined price. Key. I love this. Predetermined price at the end of the rental period. This property is for sale by owner, which can offer significant advantages to home buyers. Even though a homeowner chooses FSBO to save money on real estate fees, those savings can be passed on to the buyer as a lower purchase price. Hopefully we're reading this. Okay, let me see if there's any more information. They're giving information about the area. Okay, you got sales history. You can learn about that. Register for more property details. Get our property details. Let's see here. Nope, they want us to. Let's find another site really quickly. Let's find another site. But you see how they give you that information right up front, predetermined. I love that. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's see if they give us some more great homes. Here we go. All right. Rent to own. All of these are rent to own. You got 3-bed, 2-bath, 4-bed, 2-bath. You got 4-bed, 2-bath. Let's look at this one. It's got a lot of windows. A lot of windows. Okay. A lot of these sites want you to kind of register, but these homes do exist, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing I really want to know is the square footage. They're not giving that information. They're trying to, have you subscribe to the site. I get it. It's a marketing tactic. I got it. Let me look at one more site. Let's look at this one. Some of these might have that information. Let's see. Like this one. Okay, great. Found one. Homefinder.com. Okay, keep that in your memory bank. Homefinder.com. Rent to own, 4-bed, 2-bath, 2,500 square feet. Okay. This one right here. Let's see if we can view the details, and they're gonna make us sign up again. All right, let's look at the details. Yeah, you got to register. Yeah. Okay. Median family income, 118,000. That's a lot. Oh, no, that's local information. My bad. That's local information. And again, it says it right here. Look, I'm right here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me blow this up. You can't see this. My apologies. Blow it up one more time. Very, very important information. Okay. The FSBO means for sale by owner. Okay. So it says some FSBO homeowners may also offer flexible financing options. Does anybody know what that means? Does anyone knows what flexible financing option? They're telling you we can be the bank. That's what that means. Did anyone know that? That means that we can be the bank. This is even better than at the end of the option period that you guys have the option to buy or go rent somewhere else or go buy somewhere else. They can also be your finance, because guess what? I'm going to tell you, a lot of these rent to buy, rent to own, if you're late, you null and void the contract. You null and void it. Say, hey, at the end of your lease, you're done. You're out. There's no option to buy because you were late. So be cognizant of that. Be very aware of that. But when they show you right here, flexible financing option, including owner financing, and listen, this website is doing it for me all. This is a great website. A good alternative to a bank loan, because you're dealing with the people you was already renting from. You were never late. They say, yeah, you was a great tenant. It's now your home. You just pay us. You just pay us for the home. That's going to be another contract. You already got a down payment because part of your rent, you was accumulating rental credit. Now that's your down payment. That's phenomenal. Okay? Because look here, I'm going to give you the book answer because I know a lot of you like to see things in different ways. So I like to educate people on this. Okay? Owner financing. Let's just do the book answer. Okay? I'm going to blow it up so we all can see it together. Okay? Owner financing is a transaction in which a property seller finances the purchase directly with the person or entity buying it, either in a whole or in part. This type of arrangement can be advantageous both for sellers and buyers because it eliminates the cost of a bank. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something really quickly. You know why I like this? You know why I like this option for people who don't have the credit score or the down payment? Because you're going to come in, you're going to pay the option fee. Okay, cool. You're going to pay an extra premium on your rent. Okay, cool. But if they're going to offer you owner financer or seller financing, then let me tell you, everything is negotiable. That means that you say, I got a 640 credit score. If I go get a bank loan, they're telling me that my interest rate is going to be 8%. Don't you know if a seller is financing it, or you can negotiate the percentage. You can negotiate the interest rate. Is anyone hearing me right now? Because with the bank, they want to listen. Banks want to make tons of money. So when you have a low credit score, they say, okay, well, we're going to give you the loan, sir, but it's going to be 8% on the loan. And a lot of you who are not financially savvy, you got to have one of these old school solar panel, right? So the home is $250,000. Okay, this is easy math. So they say 8% on the interest. Okay. 8% on the interest. You're paying almost $200,000 more for a home that's $250,000. I can't make this stuff up. But you have horrible credit. You don't have any money down. This is a great alternative to you buying a home because you can sit down with the seller and say, hey, listen, the reason why I did this, lease with option to buy is because I was getting my finances in order and I really wanted to buy a home for me and my family. And the guy said, well, I was helping you out with this. So 60%. He's like, sir, the national average for the interest rate for a home is 2.6%. And I know that you want to make some money on that. So is there any sort of way that we can do around 4%? Can you bring that down 2%? And I won't be late. You can negotiate every part of the contract. You can't negotiate with the bank. Okay? There is no negotiation with a bank. Zero, none, nada, zilch, donut. There is none. There's no negotiating with the bank. They're going to say, sir, with your current credit score, we can offer you a loan at this rate. You may go to a different bank. They may give you an interest rate that's slightly higher or slightly lower. But believe me, if a bank is going to say 8%, the next bank ain't going below 7%. The next bank may go to 9%. So you can negotiate your interest rate on this particular loan. Now, again, there is a lot of money that's coming out of your pocket. Because again, you're paying option money. You're paying an extra premium on your rent. So take, for instance, the rent would have been $800-900. You're probably paying $1,100. But again, that's cool because a portion of that money is going to be on your down payment. Because you're building up your down payment as you're paying rent. And then at the end of the lease, they say, sir, well, you have the option to buy. Would you like to buy? I would like to buy, but, I know I got the rental money that's a credit that can be used as my down payment. The problem is my credit score is still low, but I got the money. I've been paying you. I haven't been late. If anything, I've been early. I've done repairs in the homes. I've done some upgrades. I love the home. Then the seller says, well, I can do seller financing. I can do owner financing. And here, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to wait till the end of the contract. You can find that out in the beginning. You can find that information out in the beginning. You can predetermine the cost of the home. You can predetermine if he's going to do seller or owner financing, how much the interest rate may or may not be. There's so many things that, again, you must read the fine print. So I know you guys want to finish up looking at the election, so I'm going to hold you any longer. I'm just watching it. You know, I got some popcorn. I don't care. I don't care what happens. I don't. But if you want to own your own home and you're tired of renting, you're tired of your neighbors, you're tired of things breaking in your home and no one's fixing it, and you don't want to fix it because that's their obligation to fix it, because that's their property that they need to take care of with their cheap washer and dryers and their cheap aluminum top vinyl countertops, then this is a great alternative for you to buy. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up so we can really bring in people to get this information. A subscriber of mine asked for this information. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to tell you this too. If you want to know information about certain things, I need for you guys to really comment below. I know people are chatting. I love it. You know, I talk to you guys, but please leave comments in this video. I want you guys to leave comments in the video. Whether it's good information, bad information, something I left out. And please share and like this information. Share this information because I know either yourself is in an apartment and you no longer want to be there, but your credit score, you don't have money for a down payment, or you have family members or friends or loved ones that you also know they're renting, but they want to buy a home. This is great information for them to know. And like I said, Home Finder, we found that right here online. That's all what I have for you guys today. Thank you, D General. I appreciate that good info. I thank you for that comment. But ladies and gentlemen, once this video has finished, please leave some comments in the comment section below. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. And listen, there's an option for you to have your own home. So again, no excuses. Not on this damn channel. You guys have a great and wonderful evening. I'm out.